type your full names in the chat box just to take the attendance.
عايزة تركي
لا ما عايزة أشارك
بس عايزة فيديو لا
Miss Asma typed her name. Miss Mona, where are the rest? Write your name. Type your name, Miss Mona. Miss Mona is okay. Okay. That's perfect, Miss Asma. Miss Nama, type your name, please. Okay, Miss Lucy. Miss Louise. Okay. Let's make the kickoff of today's session. And today's session is about the history of teaching grammar. I think all of us Egyptian teachers give interest for grammar in teaching in our classes. So the topic of today will be inside your own passion, and you will find many ideas to tell us. Okay, we have the question here, what's your dilemma in teaching grammar? You see the screen? You see the slide on the screen? Hello? Anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
What's your dilemma in teaching grammar? What's the meaning?
Obstacles, needs, problems.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Ma. Dilemma is something like the difficulties, the hardships of something. Okay, so during my teaching for grammar classroom, may encounter some obstacles. I have some needs to do my job. May I have some problems that face me while I'm teaching grammar. So I'll start with my reflection in that, my own reflection and my own experience. So when I teach grammar, I have to apply the communicative approach. This is a modern one that will make our students to learn by the learner-centered approach to work in groups, in pairs, to make them the center of the learning process, okay? So on the other hand, and according to the washback, as we discussed last time, you remember the washback? It's the influence of the test,
Oh, testing.
yes, on the activities
Yes.
that's done on uh, teaching in the classroom. So you face that you want to make activities and communicative techniques for the students to work like that, and at the same time you have to teach the grammar like the typical way, just like the old-fashioned ways that we're going to know after in our session today. So maybe the obstacle, the test or the exam that handle only reading and writing. So the students needs just to exercise themselves on these kinds of questions that measure here only two skills, reading and writing. So this is one of the obstacles when you apply on listening and speaking. May the students feel that it's not coming in the exam, so why we practice listening and speaking? And in the same time, you like to engage them in correct and effective learning by applying the four skills, but they need only reading and writing. So this is the needs of the students and some obstacles that you face or the problem. This is the dilemma of today's Egyptian teacher in his classrooms. I'll be happy to listen to anybody of you to reflect on your dilemma in teaching grammar. Anybody would like to tell us about his own experience? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Asma, go ahead. Asma, if you'd like to speak, just unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and speak. Or if you'd like to type in the chat, it's okay.
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
I'm all ears.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. My own pupils usually depend on memorizing only vocabulary. They don't like. They don't like grammar, or they don't. They don't like or the order of the sentence, writing sentences. They consider learning English is just only memorizing vocabulary.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Miss. You figured out what's going on amazingly. Our students like to be taught the vocabulary because it's easy and they used to, or they are used to memorizing the words and just to retrieve it without any giving any efforts to apply these words in contexts or by making activities that engage them using the core skills. Okay, thank you, Miss.
Sama.
Who's else? Miss Sabah would like to speak.
مش بتكلم.
Miss Nama. I'm asking the people that يعني في بعض
مش سامع مش سامع والله.
you can't hear me.
سامع مش سامع والله.
Okay, never mind.
والله مش سامع والله.
عندي هنا بتظهر في الاسم green flash. It means that you use your mic. So I ask you to speak if the green flash appear on the screen. So sorry, I don't mean to address anybody by question. If you would like to speak, it's okay and great. I love that. If you would like to use the chat and type something, this is great too. If you have any idea and you wouldn't like to speak, you can type it in the chat. I appreciate that. Okay. A speedy sum up for the people that came late. We are talking about the dilemma of the teaching grammar for Egyptian teachers for our classrooms. What are the obstacles, the needs, and the problems that you encounter, that you face when you teach grammar? You can use the chat and type if you would like that. The chat is clear. الحمد لله ما حدش استخدم الشات، ما حدش حط لنا ideas. يعني use the chat, put any idea, any word, anything. Okay. Again, what I have said about that, for my reflection and Miss Asma's reflection that she told us for a while, the obstacles and problems that face the teacher while teaching grammar, the washback to the exams. Our exams needs only reading and writing. Another obstacle that the student just need to practice the vocabulary because it's easy for them and they can answer the questions and memorize the words and retrieve it and recall the vocabulary as they get used to. So here is the problem that we face while teaching grammar. We can give an example. When you teach the present continuous tense, okay? I'll give you a simple example because you teach the primary stage and all the grades of or stages of primary learn the present continuous. Could you tell me how you teach the present continuous tense? How could you teach the present continuous tense? What do you do to teach the present continuous tense? على مر السنة اللي فاتت في التدريب أنا شفت يعني very creative colleagues والحاجات اللي انتوا عملتوها in teaching. It's amazing. Could you tell me about لو حضرتك بتدرس ال present continuous tense يعني tell us سواء بالسلبيات أو بالإيجابيات. احنا عايزين نتكلم عن history of teaching grammar بعد شوية، ازاي بدأت وازاي اتطورت. فنو بروبلم يعني لو كانت الطريقة بتاعتنا قديمة حديثة we can discuss that. Okay? Anybody or I tell you from my own experience? Okay, Miss منى محمود بتقول I teach it as a story. Thank you. Amazing. This is a communicative way that she tell a story and may ask the students to go on adding to the events or the actions of the story. This is one method. Very good. Thank you, Miss Mona. Anybody else? Anybody to give another example, another experience?
Mr. Elya, can you hear me?
Okay, please, Mr. Ammar, I can hear you.
This is the first time I hear your voice now because there were some difficult things happened with me. So this is the first time.
I'm happy.
I
appreciate that, Mr.
I
Ammar.
use
Excuse me, Mr.
acting.
Ammar.
I use
Me. Before you start, Mr. Ammar, I'd like you to share us the other program. So after this session, be in contact with me, okay? Just send me on the WhatsApp or Messenger to tell you. You hear me? Mr.
Yes,
Ammar?
I can hear you.
Okay, after this session,
in the previous
be in touch with me because I'd like to tell you something.
I can hear. I can't hear you.
Okay, now you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, after this session,
I can say I use acting in teaching the present continuous tense.
Okay.
I ask students to do some actions, express the sentences I learn or I teach them. I use acting.
You mean role play?
Can you hear me, mister?
Yes, I can hear you well. You mean role play, Mr. Ammar? You make the students to act a certain dialogue or a story, something like that. Yes, this is a good communicative way, Mr. Ammar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Ammar. And after this session, send me any message to tell you something on the messenger or WhatsApp, okay?
Okay, Mister.
Okay,
Yes, I hear you. Thank you.
thank you so much. What's your dilemma in teaching grammar? Are you ready now to go on and to know how the grammar teaching developed over years? So before we go in that, we have some terminology or terms that we are going to encounter through our session today. So you can find some terms like mother language or the mother tongue. It's the Arabic language. So Arabic is our mother tongue, our mother language, and the students' mother language. If you find this terminology, mother tongue, it means Arabic. Miss Mona said, Miss Mona Muhammad, Miss Mona Mahmoud, I draw a big verb on the board, and inside it I write some verbs and told pupils that the verb, the V verb, is a restaurant, and the verbs are the people who want to eat, and their favorite food is when they arrive in restaurant, the waiter bring their the ing, using the ing and the verb. Okay, Miss Mona Mahmoud, thank you so much. Go on the terminology, and if you find target language, what's our target language that we teach? English. Approach, what is the approach? It's educational theory. 3 dimensions of grammar. It's form, meaning, and use. They are the 3 dimensions of grammar, and we are going to handle that now. The 3-dimensional grammar framework. The grammar is not flat that teachers consider it 50 or 70 years ago. They taught the grammar just in translation form, but now we consider the grammar 3-dimensional, and the 3 dimensions are form, meaning the structure, meaning the semantics, use, pragmatics. So look at these 3. Hello again. Okay, form, meaning, and use are the 3 dimension of grammar framework. So we have to show and explain the form and formula of the sentence, like the continuous present, verb plus ing, or am, is, are, verb plus ing. This is the form or the formula of the grammar. The meaning of this formula, it means talking about something continuous now. This is as an example. The use of the present continuous tense to contextualize the formula of the present continuous in a context, in a story, in a dialogue, in a certain situation, to indicate the use of the present continuous. So this is our three-dimensional grammar framework. And now go to our main course for today, grammar approaches over years. عبر السنين كده تطورت تدريس الجرامر من A ل A وكان ازاي واصبح ازاي. The first one or the first approach, grammar translation approach. Second one, audiolingual approach. The third one, communicative approach. These are the three approaches that were used to teach grammar over years. This one, grammar translation approach, began at the year 1850 to 1950. 1850 to 1950. And after that, from the year 1960 or 1965, teachers use the audiolingual approach. And nowadays, we use the communicative approach, ودي اللي احنا بنركز عليها وبنتعلم عليها techniques and activities because it's the most modern one. I wish all of you hear me well or what? If you hear me, just read the three approaches, please. If you hear me, read them. Read them loud out. Anybody? Hello? Hi there.
Yes.
Anybody? Yes, please, Miss. Read them. Number one.
Grammar translation approach.
Yes. Two.
Audiolingual approach.
Yes.
Communicative approach.
Thank you so much, Ms. Asma. These are the three main approaches to teach grammar. And now we will take them one by one and start with the grammar translation approach. Grammar translation approach, this is the oldest fashioned approach that began more than 150 years ago. Characteristics of this approach: one, students studied the grammar of sentences in the target language. You remember what's the target language? What's the target language?
Yes, English.
Thank you. Miss Asma مركزة جدا.
English.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. The target language is English. Students studied the grammar of sentences in the target language. They translated them into their own language. بالنسبة لنا احنا, our own language is
Arabic.
Arabic, of course. Yes. تفضلي يا مس أسماء. Would like to say something?
No thanks. No.
Okay.
No, thanks. No.
Thank you. We have an example here. Hani went to school. If I'm a teacher 150 years ago, I'll teach it like that. I'll teach this formula. هاني went to school يا أولاد معناها هاني ذهب إلى المدرسة. هاني فاعل subject، went verb فعل، ذهب، to إلى preposition حرف جر، school objective مفعول به، مفعول به منصوب بالفتحة. يبقى هنا إيه؟ This is the old way of teaching. طبعا كلنا جربنا إن احنا ندرس بالطريقة دي بالذات في بداياتنا من سنوات لما كانت خبرتنا لسه صغيرة، ويمكن برضو ما كناش على دراية بالcommunicative approach، فكنا teach like that. We used the grammar translation approach in a way or other. يبقى الابروتش دي اسمها ايه؟ grammar translation approach. نظرية تدريس الجرامر بالترجمة. You translate everything in Arabic. الجرامر I translate everything in my and students' mother tongue. This is the first characteristic of grammar translation approach. In this approach, is it necessary to contact or interact with the students and the teacher with the students? Is it necessary to make a contact between us as teachers and our students, and between the students and each other? Is it necessary?
No.
No. Just you are a teacher, stand up in front of the board, write the formula of the grammar, translate it، والعيال احفظ يا ابني. ايه دي؟ يقول لك بقى ذهب عمر إلى المدرسة. عمر went to school. مهم هنا إنه يحصل translation to the mother tongue. يبقى تاني characteristic للgrammar translation approach: contact or interaction between students is not necessary. 3. Teacher-centered learning. فاكرين ال teacher-centered and learner-centered approach؟
Yes.
هل هنا في النظرية دي grammar translation approach is it teacher-centered or learner-centered?
Teacher-centered.
Of course, Ms. Asma. This is teacher-centered learning because the teacher is the center of the learning process. The teacher explain the formula of grammar. He do everything, and students act as just receivers that receive the knowledge and information and memorize and recall the formula of the rule without any interaction with the teacher or any participation with them. Okay, this is the third characteristic. Fourth one, what about the interaction between teacher and students? Of course, very little interaction between teacher and the students. يعني أهم حاجة إن الولد يحفظ. لقيته إن هو حفظ الرول and recall it easily and memorized it. Okay, he is perfect. Good. What's the form of the present simple? الولد yes sir or yes miss, am is are. طبعا مش هيقول بلس فيرب، يقول لك زائد الفعل زائد ing. This is the grammar translation. Little interaction between teacher and student. 5. Reading and writing skills are emphasized. Reading and writing. هل في الابروتش دي you noticed any speaking or listening from the teacher or the students? Speaking and listening في grammar translation, you find that, or only reading and writing? Nobody? Okay, reading and writing skills are emphasized. Accuracy are emphasized. What's the meaning of that? Emphasized, it means it's necessary to use. Okay? هيفصل دلوقتي، شغله تاني بسرعة. في أقل من دقيقة هيفصل البرنامج، هتشغله تاني. Accuracy are emphasized، يعني لو انتوا فاكرين احنا كنا ازاي بنتعامل مع الايرورز والميستيكس بتاعت الستودنتس، حد فاكر؟ ان احنا ازاي كنا نتعامل مع الايرورز؟ Stop the students and correct them or wait after the student